Good evening, and welcome to Opera Chapman's presentation of The Glory of French Grand Opera. In the 19th century, opera's popularity continued to explode. It became a central part of musical life, especially in France, Italy, and Germany.
In the aftermath of the French Revolution, and because of the success of Gluck and his followers, Paris became the operatic capital of Europe. A new theater was built especially for French opera in 1821, and a newer, more opulent one replaced it in 1873 in the Palais Garnier, which still stands today.
The increasingly large and powerful middle class flocked to opera theaters in search of excitement and entertainment. A new kind of opera came into being, designed to appeal to audiences of all classes and professions.
French grand opera, as the genre came to be called, was as much spectacle as it was music, consistent with the fashion that had prevailed in France since the time of Lully. The new form was infused with elements of the Romantic era: grand historic epics, dramatic spectacle, innovative lighting effects, lavish ballet, and large choral scenes set in 5 acts. These were all integral characteristics of the new form.
Our program opens with 2 scenes from The Tales of Hoffmann by Jacques Offenbach, a fantasy opera based on 3 short stories by the German Romantic writer E.T.A. Hoffmann. The opera tells the story of a tortured poet with a penchant for tragic love affairs.
The prologue of the opera takes place in Luther's tavern. Hoffmann regales the patrons with 3 fantastical tales of his past loves. Olympia, an automaton Hoffmann is tricked into believing is a real woman. Antonia, a beautiful singer who suffers from a mysterious, fatal illness. And the courtesan Giulietta, who seduces Hoffmann and steals his reflection before abandoning him.
Our first scene is arguably the most recognizable piece from the opera, the famous Barcaro, which opens Act 3. It is sung by the Venetian courtesan Giulietta and Niklaus, Hoffmann's muse, who is disguised as a faithful friend. An ethereal instrumental introduction heightens the anticipation for the romance to come, coaxing the melody from our soloists as the 2 voices sensuously intertwine.
Luther's Tavern, where patrons enjoy free-flowing beer and wine as they await the arrival of their friend Hoffman.
He arrives, but is preoccupied by romance. The crowd presses him to entertain them with one of his fantastical tales, finally persuading him to recount the legend of the fabled dwarf, Kleinsack.
In our first scene, Juliet's father, Count Capulet, is hosting a masked ball. With everyone in costume, Romeo and his friends easily gain access to the festivities. Romeo is immediately enamored when he sees Juliet, even though she is the daughter of a sworn enemy. When finally left alone, the flirtation begins, first with gentle wordplay, then a caress, and finally a kiss.
In secret, of course, as their families would forbid it.
The friar agrees, hoping that their union will bring an end to the feud. He performs the ceremony in the presence of Juliet's nurse, Gertrude.
After the final blessing, the four characters express the joys of love through an impassioned crescendo and striking melodic progression.
Chi fila matoni mai audience's fascination with exotic locations and times long past during the era of French grand opera. Léo Delibes' Lakmé premiered in 1883 at the Opéra Comique in Paris. Set in British-occupied India, the opera begins with a group of Hindus meeting in secret, as the British have banned the practice of their religion.
The high priest of the Brahmin temple is outraged and goes to join the meeting, leaving his daughter, Lakmé, behind. In this scene, Lakmé and her servant, Malika, go down to a nearby river to collect lotus flowers and bathe. The two sing of the beauty and joy of nature. Suddenly, Lakmé becomes frightened of her father's plan. Malika reminds her that the kind goddess Ganesa will protect them. They continue to sing of the dazzling beauty around them.
This duet is famous for its lush harmonies and flowing lines, and has become one of the most iconic and popular pieces in the French opera repertoire.
Massenet's opera, Thais, is set against the exotic backdrop of 4th century Egypt. A group of Cenobite monks await the return of one of their brethren, Nathanael, from his journey to Alexandria.
He tells his brothers that the city is immersed in sin, and he blames the spiritual depravity on the beautiful courtesan, Thais. After all the monks go to sleep, Nathanael has a vision of Thais. He prays for strength and decides to set out at dawn to convert Thais to Christianity.
At first rejecting Nathanael's pleas to convert, Thais realizes the superficiality of her life and decides to follow Nathanael's path to holiness. The two set off on their journey through the desert, Nathanael leading Thais to Mother Albide's convent. The duet, O Messager de Dieu, O Messenger of God, is sung in the first scene of Act 3, when Nathanael and Thais stop at an oasis nearby the convent after traveling a great distance through the desert.
At first, Nathanael disregards Thais' request to rest longer, telling her that her pain is payment for her past sins. He then notices her bleeding arms and finally shows compassion towards her. He draws a pitcher of water to bathe her bruised and bloody arms, and in the solitude of the oasis, they acknowledge the powerful connection that has brought them together.
won the prestigious Prix de Rome competition. The prize included a commission to compose an opera for the Théâtre Lyrique in Paris. Bizet chose a romantic story set on the exotic island of Ceylon. The Pearl Fishers premiered in September 1863. The opera is a compelling story of friendship tested by love.
The story follows two friends, Nadir and Zurga, whose vow of eternal friendship is threatened when they realize they love the same woman, Leila. She too struggles as she contemplates secular love and her sacred oath as a priestess. In our scene, Nadir has returned to Seoul to find Zurga has been elected the Fisher King. The two men reminisce about the past. Zurga asks if Nadir has kept his vow.
In the stirring duet, Au fond de ton bassin, the two men recall the young woman that mesmerized them, and how they vowed to place their friendship above their yearnings and renounce her and the desire they felt.
Rosé's Carmen premiered on March 3, 1875 at the Opera Comique. Today, Carmen is one of the most popular operas in the repertoire, despite its short original run of only 36 performances.
Sadly, Bizet never enjoyed the extraordinary success that his work would achieve, as he died suddenly at the age of 37, before the initial run of performances was completed. The opera follows Don José, a soldier, who throws his life away in pursuit of the impassioned gypsy Carmen. Previous to our scene, Carmen has cajoled Don José into letting her escape incarceration, and consequently, he is sent to prison himself. In the famous Act 2 quintet, smugglers Don Cairo and Remendado try to coax Flasquita, Mercedes, and Carmen to aid them in a contraband deal. When Carmen refuses to assist them, her friends demand to know the reason why. She eventually reveals that she is in love. While this explanation greatly humors her friends, it also piques their interest in her new lover.
Rosa,
is one of the greatest literary achievements in human history. M. Thomas took this epic tale and brought it to life with his music. The vignette we present to you shows Prince Hamlet in an emotional state of chaos. Hamlet's father, the King of Denmark, has been murdered by Hamlet's uncle Claudius in a desperate bid for the throne.
The ghost of the king appears to Hamlet and demands he swear an oath to avenge the murder and kill Claudius. Oath sworn but conflicted, Hamlet drowns out the words of his father while drinking with his men in a castle cellar. The prince and his cohorts sing "O vin, dissipe la tristesse," or "Wine, dispel our sadness." But Hamlet's misery grows until he finally collapses in a maniacal laughter. Antonia's father has moved her to Munich in order to escape the influence of her lover, Hoffman.
Early in the act, Antonia sings a nostalgic song about lost love. Afterwards, she collapses from exhaustion. Her father rushes in and reminds her that she's inherited her mother's fatal illness. If she continues to sing, it will bring about her early death. She retires to her boudoir. Hoffman arrives and finds Antonia in her new home when her father isn't present. In this scene, the couple is reunited. Together they sing the love duet they often shared long ago.
Despite being forbidden to sing, Antonia cannot restrain herself from professing her love of Hoffman and singing. The exertion proves too much for her, and once again, she collapses.
Oui, mon père.
sooner has he departed than the sinister Dr. Miracle arrives, claiming to have the cure for Antonia's illness. He finds her alone and persuades her to sing one last time, following her mother's path to fame and glory. He intimates that Hoffman only loves her for her beauty. Knowing that she will die if she sings again, Antonia calls upon the spirit of her mother for help.
Dr. Miracle hears her plea and conjures the voice of her mother, enticing Antonia to sing with growing fervor and speed until she collapses at the feet of the gleeful doctor.
Thank you.
opera, Faust, premiered in Paris in 1859. In just over 30 years, the opera was performed over 1,000 times in Paris alone. Based on Goethe's play, Gounod limited himself to Part 1, which deals with the tragic love affair of Faust and Marguerite.
Set in 16th century Germany, we find aged Faust deeply depressed and unable to attain fulfillment through his knowledge. Faust is contemplating suicide when the sound of a chorus extolling life, love, and God distracts him. He curses happiness, science, and faith, and calls on Satan for deliverance.
Mephistopheles duly appears and offers Faust wealth, glory, and power. Faust admits he merely desires the pleasures of youth. Mephistopheles agrees to fulfill Faust's desires in exchange for his servitude in hell. To sweeten the deal, Mephistopheles conjures a vision of the young Marguerite. Immediately enamored, Faust signs the agreement and is transformed into a young nobleman.
Late in Act 2, Faust encounters Marguerite amongst a group of villagers in the town square. He offers her his arm, which she modestly rejects and quickly departs. In Act 3, Faust woos Marguerite in the beautiful love duet, Laisse-moi contempler ton visage. Let me gaze upon your countenance.
Mephistopheles arrive to claim Marguerite's soul on the day of her execution. They plan to help her escape, and Faust and Marguerite briefly reminisce about their first encounter. However, upon realizing Mephistopheles' evil influence, she refuses to go with them, telling Faust that she trusts her fate to God. She cries out to the angels of heaven for mercy.
Our performance this evening closes with the powerful Chorale of the Swords. Marguerite's brother, Valentin, enters with his companions and raises his sword in the sign of the cross, driving Mephistopheles away. The ensemble then joins together in a joyful waltz chorus, ainsi que la brise légère, as a breeze gently rises.